Right, yeah, that's your final two. What do you think, William?
Well, I think after all of the debate and discussion about various candidates who've been outside the cabinet, have only ever held ministerial positions, etc., we've ended up with the two people who are expected to be the front runners for months now, probably since about this time last year. Now, Rishi Sunak, up until recently the Chancellor, Liz Truss, still the Foreign Secretary, are both very experienced candidates. They've both got experience, obviously, in some of the highest and most important jobs in government. And I think it's rather reassuring, of course, as we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis, the ongoing war in Ukraine and all the rest, that whoever we have in number 10 from September will at least be experienced in that respect.
Why do you say whoever's going to be in number 10? We all know who it's going to be. I mean, it's quite clear now that she's got through to the final two. Our Prime Minister, as of September the 6th, will be Liz Truss.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that's definitely the case. We're very used to, here at Con Home, making the political weather when it comes to these sort of things with our surveys that we do every month. But also in the last week, we've done two separate leadership surveys, which first of all had Penny Mordaunt out in front and then Kemi Badenoch out in front. But more interesting perhaps than those were the various matchups between the various different candidates. And they've shown a huge amount of movement. So Rishi Sunak, who was originally considered a no-hoper when put up against most other leading candidates, has closed the gap on Penny Mordaunt, both Penny Mordaunt and indeed, more importantly now, Liz Truss, by quite a significant margin in the last few.
What do you think, William, or do you have a view on the process where you have the parliamentary party putting before the party membership the people who they think are best, and then you have 200,000 or so people who are going to decide on all of this? What do you think of that system?
Well, I think it's a relatively effective system, and I would say that only because the few academic studies that have been done into the sort of differences in results that you get from having elections just done between MPs versus the results you get having leadership elections with wider members suggests that the results are broadly similar. And also what's quite interesting is that MPs, something that we don't actually, I think, make enough of an issue of, tend to have views which are rather out of line with those of the majority of voters. So, for example, Tory MPs are usually more socially and economically liberal. So actually, Tory members tend to have views on both economics and social issues which are closer to the average voter.